So it's been at least 8 years since I've had to take my car to any garage and let a mechanic work on it. You know, with the whole VW dealership abusing my R32 and catching them on the dash cam and stuff. This is crazy. So I bring my car to get the alignment, and they have it on the alignment rack, and the heater blows off all kinds of just antifreeze in there. Lost all my antifreeze. So now when they get the alignment rack cleaned off, we gotta go back in and try this again. Burnt my arm. I've kind of got it bypassed now. We're going to try to get this thing aligned. They're not going to adjust the subframe and stuff, even though the computer says to. They just want to do the toe. They've never had a VW on this alignment rack, he says, so. So you might think it's stupid to carry all these extra parts in your trunk until you're broke down at the garage, and then you have to bypass your heater core in the parking lot. And then it's kind of badass that you have all the stuff and tools to do it in your car. If you ever need to clamp some exhaust together, I got you. Some hose clamps, little bypass, 90-degree big bypass. We've got some 1-inch hose here in case you need that. So I walk back in the shop there, and it's just covered in antifreeze everywhere, all over the battery, all over everything. All this material back here, and this end was just snapped right off. So that's your heater core. So I got the end off the heater core. Heater core is fine. This should be on there. It is no longer. Imagine the strut tower brace here right now, because that's how it was in the shop. But yeah, so, you know, completely blocking your access to, oh, it's leaking. You might as well just put this for sale online with the, see, this is covered in coolant, that needs to be cleaned off. So when I was ordering these connections online, I took my calipers out and I was measuring the size and measuring the ends. Never thought about those slots. So my parts arrived. And we got 2 of them. Big slot, little slot. The only way it goes on, facing straight up into the firewall. Doesn't work at all. We got 5 or 6 tabs open here. Rock Auto, AutoZone, Google, FCP Euro, ECS Tuning. And you can go on ECS Tuning and they'll have the part and it'll say that it fits. And then you go on another site and it says that it doesn't. And then you go to AutoZone. That same 2157EM hose, they'll say it doesn't fit. So my car exploded at the alignment shop 2 weeks ago, and I've been trying to get these parts ever since. And I couldn't get any of these parts at the local parts store. What a boring magnet that is, a Subaru Legacy. Throw that one away. So because this heater core fitting is really hard to find, and I ordered it once, they said it shipped in 1 business day. That's not true. Everywhere has like a week delay on it, and it's hard to get. So what I noticed is there is a part number for this. That's the heater hose part number. And it's a whole hose and a fitting. And on this fitting it has that little plastic end. And what you can do, I think on some cars, is they don't have this T fitting here. I think we can just delete that. So this hose should go to the cylinder head down there. And then instead of having this T fitting, it'll just connect to the heater core, and then we route this one, possibly spin it so it turns in, connects on that nipple. That's what I was thinking there. How do you get hurt doing the simplest things like that? I love using my special pliers on stuff. So much better than struggling with like channel locks. So we should be able to pull this off the throttle body now. This hose, not really impressed by that, right? What is that bubble? Alright, so as I suspected, that this bubble right here is no good, and that's a bad hose. So right there on the left side of that hose, you can see right there where it's bad. It's so discouraging when I just get bad parts over and over again. This flares out at this end of the hose, and the rest of the hose is all the same diameter. And that's where our bad part is. So, oh, you guys think it's a duck, huh? Hunting dogs. So you can see how that metal line behind our engine is deteriorating at the end. It's like, oh, I replaced every suspension part possible. I should be able to get an alignment now. No, not for Josh. Just nothing works out for Josh. Waste of time. I'm about 50% ready to put that old suspension back in. At least then it looked good. Still drives like shit. So I went to the parts store and got 2 feet of coolant hose that fits onto these adapters the size that I have. So I don't know how I feel about this. I have everything reconnected. I ended up using the hose that they sent us that's the bad piece with the bubble in it, just because we have to, because it's the only way to make the car run today. I don't really like that setup. There's too much pressure right here against the brake booster. So I came up with something that'll sort of work. I switched back to the straight outlet on the driver's side, and we still have our bad hose with the bubble in it on the passenger side. So this is the metal pipe that I need, and it's connected with this bracket to this metal pipe, which comes over to the top of the coolant reservoir. So those 2 metal pipes are one part connected to a bracket. I just don't see myself going to pick a pole and then finding one of those metal pipes that's in perfect condition and the ends aren't deteriorating, because we got a rust-free car. So like I said, the chances of finding one in better condition, probably not going to happen. So I put water in, came over here, squeezed the hose. It's leaking out, so it's leaking on the hose that we got brand new. So look at this beautiful constant tension clamp here. Anybody detect what the issue might be? So we need one of these. I can probably make it work with this clamp. So I'll tell you guys if I mess up because I'm stupid or it's my fault somehow. And that one might have been my fault. So I put that worm clamp on down there, and we were doing the old flathead screwdriver tightening, and I'm really good at stabbing myself in the finger in those situations, because you have to hold the back of the clamp, otherwise you're just pushing with a screwdriver and it rotates. So you have to put your fingers down there, and then that's where disaster happens. So I guess I didn't have it tight enough. So get the 5/16 and then you can tighten it a little better without stabbing your fingers. So 5/16 for hose clamps. Hopefully that helps someone and saves you from stabbing your hand. So it's been 17 days of struggling ever since I went to get an alignment and my car exploded on the alignment rack. So everything would be fine right now if this hose was good, but it was defective from the factory and we knew it was going to leak. So that's where we're at now. So the bubble on this hose is right where this marker line is. So we're going to have to cut it below that, and then we're going to lose, you know, 1.5 inches if I'd have to guess from here. So it might actually be able to go over this hose, but it's hard to tell because, you know, right now it's stuffed up there, but when we cut 1.5 inches off, it might work out. So I've got the hose routed back under here just to show you, and if we put it up next to the connection, so the bubble is where my finger is, so you kind of have to pull up too much to cut any off. Like if I cut it right under the bubble, it'd really be stretching it and it wouldn't be a good fitment, so it wouldn't really work good like that. So we'll take this hose and flip it back around under here. Now it's supposed to go under here because remember it came with the little plastic fitting on it that was supposed to hold a smaller line than this, but you know, different years and stuff. So I think this will work if we get it cut in the right spot. If you put the connector flush there, it still gives it a little bit of hose before it just makes that turn. And then as you move it down, like, you can't really put it there. That doesn't really work. So this is what happens when you get bad parts and then you just have to make it up as you go. So originally this was connected to here, like that. But that didn't work for us because of this giant bubble in the hose, you see? So we cut it, and then we cut it again, and I think we got it this time. So what we accomplished here is this piece broke off at the alignment shop, catastrophic failure, lost all the coolant. We replaced that piece, replaced this hose, and we replaced the passenger side as well because that's crumbling apart. And that went into this hose, which went into this fitting, so we deleted one fitting completely because now we just have the fitting up here, and you know, we completely eliminated that one. But anyways, overall successful. Got rid of this oval clamp here that set us back a little bit. Got some extra parts left over. So they said the alignment would cost $75, but then they only charged me $35, and I think that's because the alignment machine was telling them that you have to adjust the subframe and shift it over and stuff like that to get all these numbers perfect. So they only wanted to adjust the toe. So our total front toe was 2 degrees off, and now we should be better. And he said that shouldn't chew up my tires. So I got everything reconnected, the O-ring's in properly now, and we added it to the maintenance records. So 4/3/2025, got the alignment, car exploded on the lift. 4/20, heater core flanges plus the hose. We did the heater core back on 3/21/2022. So I thought I fixed all the coolant problems, you know, the obvious ones, the coolant pipe, the coolant flange, the heater core, the water pump. But we'll just keep going and keep fixing stuff, and eventually we'll have an all new car.